Hey guys, what's going on? InsidiousSwede back again here for another YouTube video. Welcome to my top 20 favorite manga of all time list. This is taking me quite a long time to compile. Instead of doing it my normal way, which is just listing out series, I decided to actually attach a score to each individual series to see what kind of went through my brain as I was ranking the manga. So the four categories I decided to use were story, art, characterization, and world building, and I took those four numbers and then turned it into an average score out of 10. So keep that in mind as we go through this list. I will have the different scores up on the screen so you can get an idea about why I chose to put series where. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Starting off at number 20, we have Attack on Titan. Now, I would have had this series a bit higher a couple years ago, but as I've read more manga, it's kind of fallen for me, but it's still a very good series. Still love the main characters. Mikasa Ackerman, Eren Yeager are still fantastic. I still love the idea about the Titans, the mystery surrounding them, and the world in general is very good. So overall, Attack on Titan, still a solid manga and deserving of a place on my list. At number 19, we have Full Metal Alchemist. Edward and Alphonse Elric are two of my favorite shonen protagonists of all time, and it's basically a redemption story about these two brothers trying to regain what they lost and make up for the mistakes they made in their youth. Great series, love the story, the world is incredible, love the alchemy as well. Very interesting to see how all that goes down in the equivalent exchange and stuff like that. So overall, Full Metal Alchemist is a very solid shonen manga. At number 18, we have Bleach, which if you guys know me, this series used to be a lot higher on my list, but as it's gone on, I hold it in a bit less regard than I used to, but the Soul Society arc is still one of my favorite shonen arcs of all time. I still love the characters in the world, so I still feel that Bleach is good enough to be on my list. At number 17, we have Barakeman, which, as you guys know, is my favorite slice of life manga of all time. So many things are incredible about this series. The characters, the world, although undeveloped, and then even the artwork. As it goes on, it gets better and better, and each chapter feels like its own unique story. It has its own unique message, and it's just an overall great slice of life manga. At number 16, we have No Longer Human, which is one of the most insane reads I have ever gone through, and the downward spiral we see our main character take is surreal, and the ending to this series is by far one of the best, if not the best, ending to manga I have ever read. At number 15, we have Planets, taking place in mainly outer space, but along with the moon. This is basically a manga about people who pick up space trash, but it is so much more than that. Very human emotions. There's even some romance thrown in there, which is a nice touch. Just overall, an incredible sci-fi series, and if you're a fan of Makoto Yukimura's other work, you would definitely be a fan of this as well. At number 14, we have Parasite, an incredible seinen horror manga about parasites taking over the brains of humans, and with our main character, the exception, where his parasite took over only his hands. Great series, a lot of gore as well with comedy, even romance in this title as well. Just one of my personal favorite seinen manga series, and although the ending can come off as a bit preachy, I thought it was one of the better endings I've read in manga. Just overall a great series. At number 13, we have Slam Dunk. So of course, Takehiko Inoue's artwork is gorgeous, some of the best you can ever find in any manga series, but the thing that I love about this manga is our characters like Hanamichi Sakuragi, one of the most charismatic main characters I've ever seen, right up there with Naruto. Just a great series with gorgeous artwork and a bunch of very likable characters, all put into my favorite sport, the game of basketball. At number 12, we have Toriko. So many great things going on in this manga, from our main character Toriko to its supporting cast like Kumatsu and the Four Great Kings, along with all of the environments we're put into, reminding me a lot of Dragon Ball, just these surreal universes where our characters go to get stronger. So many incredible things about this manga, which is why I have it at number 12 on my list. At number 11, I have Dragon Ball, of course, this also including Dragon Ball Z in my ranking. So many incredible things I could say about Dragon Ball, but most of them have already been said. It's a classic manga. Everything from the characters to the world to just the overall enjoyability of this series really leaves me feeling good every time I read it. Refreshing series, and still holds up to this day as one of my favorite manga series of all time. At number 10, we have Death Note, of course, the series that got me into reading manga. I've read this more times than any other series in my collection. It's a manga that I'll always have nostalgia for. And beyond that, just our main character, Light Yagami, being one of my personal favorite main characters. The intelligence and wit needed to write a character like that is still really impressive, of course, with the gorgeous art as well, to tie this into one of my personal favorite shonen manga series, which is why it is still in my top 10 favorite manga of all time. At number 9, we have A Silent Voice. This is not your standard boy meets girl kind of romance story. This is a very intense read that touches on things like bullying, deafness, depression, and suicide. So there's a lot of very heavy emotions going on in this series, which makes for my personal favorite romance manga of all time, and one that I would highly recommend. At number 8, we have Tokyo Ghoul. This series is so fantastic in so many different ways, from our transformation of our main character, Ken Kaneki, from an average high school student into one of the most powerful ghouls in all of Japan. The addition of the Kagune is a very unique weapon that has a lot of variance to it, which adds a lot to the series. Along with the world, very gorgeous looking. Sui Ishida's art is very well detailed, and overall it's just one of the most well-rounded manga I've ever read. At number 7, we have One Punch Man. This is essentially a satire on American superheroes, but it kind of takes that to the next level and turns it into this incredible entity that is one of the more enjoyable stories you could read. Saitama is one of the most fun main characters, and the artwork at times can be jaw-dropping, which makes for one of the most incredible manga series I've ever read. At number 6, we have Pluto. This is, of course, Naoki Urasawa's retelling of Astro Boy. It is an action thriller about a mass murderer going around killing off the most intelligent robots on planet Earth, with our main character Gesich being one of them. So many in-depth layers to this series. It makes for an incredible read, which is why it is at number 6 on my list. At number 5, we have Berserk. This series is absolutely insane. It has arguably the greatest arc in manga history with the Golden Age storyline. It has incredible characterization with people like Guts, Casca, and Griffith. It is really one of the best manga series of all time, and just because it's at number 5 only, that doesn't mean I don't consider it a masterpiece. At number 4, we have Hajime no Ippo, of course the long-running sport boxing manga that follows Makunoichi Ippo, who goes from being a bullied kid at school to one of the most powerful boxers in the entire world. This series is absolutely incredible. The journey we see Makunoichi Ippo take from where he starts to where he ends up is my favorite journey I've ever read in manga. The artwork is incredible. This entire series blew me away from chapter 1, and that is why it is so high on my list. At number 3, we have Monster, the other Naoki Urasawa work I have read. This series is the most complex and layered story I have ever experienced. It follows, of course, Japanese surgeon Dr. Tenma, who is wrongly accused of a murder, and Johann Liebert, who is a mastermind criminal behind a lot of these ridiculous killings in their current time. Such an incredible story, so many incredible characters, and overall ends up being one of the greatest manga series I have ever read. At number 2, we have Vagabond. Of course, the series that follows Miyamoto Musashi, or Takezo. It's about his life while experiencing love, loss, success, and failure, along with a multitude of other very detailed characters about their life experiences, with artwork that basically looks real in a world that looks gorgeous. This entire series is perfect, but it is not quite my favorite series of all time. At number 1, my favorite series of all time is Vinland Saga. Of course, the Viking manga that follows Thorfinn, a young Viking who loses his father and sets out on a quest of vengeance to the man Askeladd who killed him. This series is in many ways undescribable for me. It's a manga that I read and just fell in love with. The characters, the world, everything about this series is absolutely perfect, and although I hate using that word, I don't think there is any other adjective I could use to describe how much I love Vinland Saga, which is why it is, and most likely will always be, my favorite manga of all time. Alright guys, well that is my top 20 favorite manga of all time. Thank you so much for watching. This video has taken me a long time to edit and compile together, so please go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. But anyways guys, thank you for watching. I'm InsidiousSwede, and until next time, take care.